Today we will be going over goddess pose. To begin in goddess pose, we'll step our feet 3 to 4 feet wide with our toes pointed to the corners of the mat in front of us. From here, we're going to take an inhale. Arms are going to come up, and we'll inhale again, arms coming all the way up, palms facing each other. On the exhale, we're going to bend into the knees and bending the elbows at the same time as well. The knees are going to track over the ankles, and we want to engage the glutes, pushing our knees to the back. And with our upper body, we want to squeeze our shoulder blades in the back and then look up. And from here, we are in full expression of goddess pose. We'll take an inhale, and on the exhale, slowly coming back up out of our pose, walking our feet back in to Tadasana. Now we do have some modifications for this. Sometimes the upper body might be a little bit uncomfortable, so we're going to maintain our lower body, so stepping our feet out nice and wide, toes pointed to the corners, and we're just going to bring our hands here to heart center. We'll take an inhale, and on the exhale, once again bending down into our knees, pushing those knees to the back, really engaging the glutes, still opening up through the chest. Inhale here, exhale, standing up, bringing our feet back to center, coming back to Tadasana. Now some might want to have a little bit more of an upper body side stretch while we do this, so bringing our feet out nice and wide. We'll take an inhale, floating our arms up all the way, and our arms are going to stay here, up above our head, still rolling the shoulders up and back, down and back, opening up through the chest. We'll take an inhale, and on the exhale, coming down into our goddess pose, still opening up through the chest here, engaging the glutes, squeezing the shoulder blades in the back. Inhale, and exhale, coming back out of our goddess pose. Now in our full expression of goddess pose, we can do it up against a wall as well to help with balance and to help align everything so that we know that our knees are pointing towards the back of the room and that we can rest our upper body so that our arms are really reaching towards the back wall so that we know that we are fully engaging those shoulders. And then our last modification is going to be on our chair. So coming to the front of our chair, we're going to sit at the front of it so that the arms of the chair don't get in the way. We'll start with our legs out, nice and wide. Again, with our knees tracking over the ankles, we still want to engage the glutes, pushing our knees to the back of the room. We'll inhale. Arms can either come to heart center, they can come up for our side stretch, or we can bring them down, rolling the shoulders down and back for the arms of our goddess pose. We'll inhale here and exhale, extending our arms, bringing our legs back, once again to our seated position. Now we also have some transitions to get into our goddess pose. The first one that we're going to do is coming down, starting in downward dog. Rooting down through the hands, tuck the toes, bringing the hips up and back, and elongating through the spine. We'll take an inhale. On the inhale, the right leg comes up towards the sky. On the exhale, shifting the weight forward and planting the foot. From here, we're going to drop the back heel, and we are going to slowly walk ourselves, turning our right foot as well to the front so that we are in a wide-legged forward fold here. We'll take an inhale and an exhale. On the inhale, elongate through the spine, reaching forward with the crown of the head. And then on the exhale, we're going to bend through the knees, slowly rounding up through the back. We'll adjust our toes so that they're pointing towards the corners of the mat. On the inhale, arms come up, hands facing each other. And on the exhale, bending down into the knees, bending the elbows, rolling the shoulders down and back, engaging the glutes, pressing the knees to the back. We'll take an inhale, and on the exhale, slowly releasing, straightening through the legs. Placing our hands on our hips, we'll take an inhale. On the exhale, slowly hinging forward. Inhale here, and exhale, coming down to our full wide-legged forward fold with our toes pointed towards the front of the mat. We'll take an inhale, and on the exhale, we're going to slowly walk ourselves back over the right foot, turning the back toes into our low lunge here. We'll take an inhale, and on the exhale, placing our weight in the hands, sending the right foot back, returning to downward dog. Now our second transition is going to start in Tadasana. We're going to go into Warrior Two, and then flowing into our Goddess pose, coming into Triangle, and flowing through that motion. So, starting in Tadasana, we're going to step our feet nice and wide, about 3 to 4 feet apart. We'll turn our right toes towards the right short side of the mat. We'll inhale, arms float up, and on the exhale, lunging into our front knee, rolling our shoulders down and back, really squeezing our shoulder blades together and shifting our gaze over the right hand. We'll take an inhale here, and on the exhale, straightening up through our right leg, turning our toes into the corners of our mat. We'll take an inhale, arms come up, and on the exhale, coming down into our Goddess pose. Knees pressing towards the back, engaging the glutes, squeezing the shoulder blades together and shifting our gaze up. We'll take an inhale, exhale, coming up out of our pose here. We're going to take our left foot, we're going to turn the toes to the short end of the mat, right toes pointing towards the front of our mat. We will take an inhale here, and on the exhale, reaching forward and coming down into our triangle pose. So our left hand is going to come to the outside of our left foot here, making sure our arms are stacked, and then we're opening up through the chest. Inhale and exhale, coming up out of triangle. We're going to shift our toes to the corners of the mat. Inhale, arms come up. Exhale, come down to Goddess pose. We'll inhale, and on the exhale, coming up out of that pose, right or left toes towards the short end of the mat, right toes to the front. Inhale here, and exhale into our Warrior Two, keeping the hips open to the front. We'll take an inhale here, and on the exhale, straightening through the left leg, turning the toes once again to the corners of the mat. We'll take an inhale up, and on the exhale, bending the knees, bending the elbows, squeezing the shoulder blades, coming into Goddess pose. Inhale, and exhale, coming up out of Goddess pose. This time we'll turn our right toes to the right side, facing our left toes to the front of the mat. We'll take an inhale. On the exhale, shifting our weight forward, we'll come down into a triangle pose on our right side. Once again, arms are stacked, we're opening up through the chest. We'll take an inhale, exhale, coming up out of triangle pose. Turning our toes once again to the corner of the mat. Inhale, arms come up for our last Goddess pose. Inhale, exhale, Goddess pose. Inhale, exhale, coming up out of the pose, walking the feet in together, finishing in Tadasana. And that is our Goddess pose.